When I started this channel, I genuinely thought that it would take 12, 18 months, maybe never, before it got monetized. And after the first 3 videos flopped, that was looking like the way it was going to be. I was in for the long haul. But then somehow, 2.5 weeks later, I was monetized. This is Simon from Salary to Side Hustle, and today I want to talk to you about how I got monetized, and more importantly, I think, why it happened. I started the channel in the middle of September 2025, so let's look at the first month, those glory days where I went from 0 to 24 subscribers. The original goal of the channel was to start talking about Kindle Direct Publishing, which is the main side hustle I've had going for the last couple of years. It turns out, at least for me, there's not a huge market for that. So I started off doing a couple of income reports just to talk people through how things had gone for me initially in August and then into September. And those videos were the backbone of the channel to start with. And as you can see, we basically flatlined, and then we had a little bit of a boost as we went into October. And in total, we got 374 views for that month and about 15 hours of watch time. And also went from, I think I had 1 subscriber up to 25, so an additional 24. And at the time, I was pretty happy with that. If you do the maths, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to become monetized. And this is, after all, a side hustle channel, so that was the goal of the YouTube channel itself. So doing the maths, you're looking at several years really of work to try and get to the point where we had enough subscribers and enough consistent watch hours that YouTube would consider this channel for monetization. So let's flick to the actual videos that I uploaded. So as you can see here, we've got a couple of income reports, August and September for KDP. I was messing about with shorts a bit just to learn how to do those. And then I did my first month on YouTube. Full disclosure, real numbers revealed. As you can see from the previous slide, those real numbers weren't very large. But then I was just messing about one day, and I've been watching a number of early retirement YouTubers, and they tend to wander around the local area just chatting away about their views on retirement, their experience. And I thought, well, that's where I am. I'm doing something that many people actually want to do. I'm doing it for real. So why don't I do a bit of a walk and talk? So the very same day, I just basically got things in the car, drove off to a local picturesque woodland and started rabbiting away. And if I bring in the next slide now, you can see something quite miraculous happened, certainly from my point of view. So this is just 3 days, October 21st, 22nd and the 23rd. And during that time, the channel managed to get 5.2k views, almost all this particularly new video. And the watch hours, almost 300, and an additional 171 subscribers. So if you look at that, you can start doing the maths, and instead of looking at years now, you start thinking about weeks before the channel is monetized. And even more happily, I was talking about something that was arguably more interesting than KDP and more relevant to where I was in life. So altogether, it was a really good outcome. The question now was, of course, could I maintain this, or was it a real blip? So if we take a look at a longer timeline for that video now, just over 2 weeks, from the 21st of October to November the 6th, you can see that somehow it racked up 31,000 views. And don't tell me that thumbnail is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I think it's the topic that interests people. And as well as all those views, the video had got 1.7k watch hours, which is taking the channel obviously nearly halfway towards that watch hour total of 4,000 needed for monetization. And even more surprisingly, 745 subscribers came on board. And if you're one of those, I'm deeply grateful for that initial interest, because that's what kept me going on this particular path and has led me to the point where the channel, as you know now, is monetized. So that's, again, only just over a couple of weeks really of this one video. And during that time, I actually released a second video. I've been working on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. as my weekly delivery cadence for the retirement videos. So the first one was October 21st, and the next one came along on October 28th. So let's talk about that one now. And so you can compare like with like. Here's the first 3 days of that video. So not 5,200 views, 11,800, so more than double. And this, again, this is just this video. This is not the 2 videos combined, and a watch hour total of almost 1,000, and then an additional 272 subscribers. So again, this video performed incredibly better than I expected. It was a really early takeoff as well for this one. So if we then layer those videos over each other and look at the entirety of the October 21st to October 23rd timeline, between them, they racked up 39,500 views, 2,500 watch hours, and by some minor miracle, the channel had more than 1,000 subscribers already, which was a huge milestone. You can imagine that was a really exciting moment for me. So exciting that I took the obligatory screenshot, and there it is, the moment we hit that magic total. But also, I love stats, and YouTube makes it really interesting to track the progress of your channel. And one morning, just after the second video had released, I woke up and I was a bit blurry-eyed, as is quite often the case, and I thought I was looking at the 48-hour view total for the channel, which was showing me just over 1,000. So that was okay. That's kind of 20 views an hour over 2 days. Not amazing, but was seemed reasonable. But then I suddenly realised that actually I was only looking at the last hour, and there'd been over 1,000 views of my channel in just an hour. And actually, I didn't take a screenshot, but it built from here, and eventually got up to 1,300 views. So that's effectively an average of more than 20 people every minute clicking to watch one of my videos. So every 3 seconds, somebody was hitting one of those thumbnails of mine, and that was amazing. It's something I haven't repeated yet. Whether I will or not, I don't know. I think channels get an early boost quite often. We'll see if we can get back there or not. But again, that was another amazing moment, and definitely screenshot worthy. So if we look at the initial growth part of the channel, really it was from that October the 21st through to the beginning of November. And during that time, as you can see from this particular slide, we've got 70,000 odd views, 4.7k watch hours, so that magic 4,000 hours has been hit now, and then 1,600 subscribers. So really, if you do the maths, that's effectively 2.5 weeks to go from what was 25 subscribers and 300 views to then 70,000 views and the requisite numbers to actually be able to apply for monetization. So as you can imagine, that's exactly what I did. And by November the 6th, I'd had an initial response from YouTube saying that I had the initial acceptance, but then there's a validation part that goes through, and you have to set up AdSense, etc. So it was actually November the 8th by the time I started to be able to enable ads within the channel. And then a few days later, the fabled Google AdSense envelope arrived. This is actually not a paycheck, as some people like you to believe. It's literally a PIN number that you have to enter into AdSense, and it just validates that the physical address that they have posted it to actually works. Without this coming through, you don't get any pay. So it was an exciting letter to receive from Google, but not actually real money. So that's the sort of process of me getting monetized. And again, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel to enable that to happen. Let's have a quick conversation about why the channel is monetized. And I think I try to be genuine and authentic. The channel is called Salary to Side Hustle. I'm doing retirement content. So there are some people who don't actually agree that I have retired. From my point of view, I can do with my week what I want to do with my week, and I've chosen to do YouTube and I've chosen to do Kindle Direct Publishing. They're not the big chunks of my week. That's free time doing whatever I like. But I'm not sitting here doing nothing, and I do have income coming in. So whether you consider that retirement or not, let me know. But from my point of view, I do. And I'm actually doing something that people want to do. There are a lot of people trapped in roles they don't want to be in, or roles that have changed around them, companies that have changed around them, or just getting older and the world moving on and things being not quite what you want them to be like. So I'm now kind of in the position where I've broken out of that, and I think that's interesting to people, and I'd like to help people do the same. And I try to share useful information as I learn it. A small thing I've done is put together a planning spreadsheet that people can download for free, and I'll be doing other things like that to try and give a bit more back to the community. And I try and make my videos a conversation, not a performance. Nobody wants people sitting there really forcing the pace, or at least I certainly don't anyway. And I think the audience that I get with this channel is more mature. So I don't think you want me trying to hype things up. So try and make it more of a conversation. I think that's getting better over time, but it takes a while to be natural in front of the camera. And I think the walk and talk format that is used, it feels personal, it feels easygoing, easy to watch. And in many cases, people are probably just listening, not watching. So it's just a simple format. And another thing is I'm just documenting the journey here. I'm deliberately not trying to advise people what they should do. I'm not pretending to be an expert. I'm clearly not one. I'm just enjoying documenting what I'm doing. So I think they're the reasons why the channel is monetized. But the other main one not listed here is I have chosen a niche which is interesting and popular, more through accident than by design. But that has definitely helped. If I wasn't talking about something that is of broad interest, then clearly the numbers wouldn't have stacked up so quickly, and I'd be spending a lot longer getting to the point where I am now, which is that monetization. That's not the be all and end all of the channel, but this is a side hustle channel. The idea was to turn this into something that was actually going to bring in a small amount of money, and that's where we are. So again, thank you so much for everybody that's contributed in any way at all. So let's bring things up to date then. As I said, it was November the 8th when I was able to get monetized. And that first day, you actually don't find out until about 2 days later, because there's lag in the YouTube system as they validate the actual views. But that first day was £19.43, which I thought was absolutely amazing. I was expecting just a few pounds. So if you do the maths, I'm immediately thinking, oh, £19 times 30. Oh my God, that's 500 quid. What's going on here? And then I mapped this forward for you all until broadly the end of November. And as you can see, the initial spike there, if you have a look at the graph at the bottom towards the right-hand side, there's that initial spike where we got the first day of £19 and then another day of 30 odd pounds. They were the really big days when those videos were really hitting hard. And it's kind of gone up and down a bit since then, but fundamentally there's been over 150,000 views of my videos, which is incredible to think. Over 10,000 watch hours, which is over a year of people watching me wandering through the local woodlands. And we're actually now over 3,000 subs, but at the point of this screenshot, we're just below 3,000 subs. And then if you have a look from November the 8th through to November the 26th, it's about £300 revenue, which is £300 more than I ever expected to get, certainly within the first year plus of this channel. So really exciting, and let's see where this goes over the next weeks and months. So that's a wrap. I hope that was interesting. I've no idea if there's anything useful for you to take away from that. I guess the things for me would be stay authentic, stay in a niche where there isn't enough interest, if actually monetization is part of your plan. Stick at it. I was going to be here for the next year, 18 months, plugging away if it meant 20 subscribers a month and climbing bit by bit to 1,000, because I've been enjoying the process. So if you're in that space and it's taking you longer than it did for me to get monetized, do stick at it. It takes 1 or 2 successful videos. So really they're out there. And if you hit a rich scene, suddenly your numbers will start jumping. Thanks for letting me talk you through my monetization journey. This is Simon from Salary to Side Hustle. Bye for now.